If you're shopping for a new construction home in Kansas City, there's something very important you need to know. When you walk into that model home or sales office, the sales rep sitting across from you works for the builder. They are paid by the builder. Their job is to protect the builder's interest and close the deal. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that they are not your advocate. And if you walk into that office without your own agent, you are negotiating alone against somebody that does this every single day. I've done hundreds of new construction transactions in the Kansas City Metro. I've been inside this process from both sides. So in this video, I'm going to show you some of the things a builder's rep won't tell you and what having your own agent in that room actually changes. Here's what most people assume when they walk into a model home. They see a friendly face, a nice office, and a rep who seems to know everything about the community. They think, this person is here to help me. And in some ways, they are. They'll answer your questions, they'll walk you through the floor plans, they'll explain the timeline. But there's a legal reality that changes the whole dynamic. That rep has a fiduciary duty to the builder, not you. They are required to act in the builder's best interest, not yours. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's how agency works in real estate. It's just that most buyers don't know that going in, and why it's so important to have someone on your side to advocate for you, to represent your best interest, to be your fiduciary. Now here's something else you need to know. If you think walking in there without an agent on your side is going to save the commission, and you get to apply that back to the sale, that's not how it works. Commissions are already built into the builder's pricing, whether you bring your agent or not. That money is already in the deal, and the builder has already agreed to pay it to their sales agent if an unrepresented buyer walks into the sale. So there's no real financial reason to go at it alone. Be protected. Get representation. A lot of people think a buyer's agent in new construction just shows up at the closing and collects a check. That's not how it works either. At least not if you're working with an agent who actually knows new construction. Here are some things that I do when I represent a buyer on a new build. First, I review the contract before you sign it. Most builders use their own contracts, which are not standard real estate contracts. They are written by a builder's attorney to protect the builder. They have clauses around change orders, delays, material substitutions, price adjustments that most buyers don't fully understand until they're already halfway through the deal. I go through that contract line by line. I flag what actually matters, and then I explain it to you so you know what you're agreeing to before you sign on the dotted line. Second, I help you through the upgrade decisions. This is where buyers can really blow out their budget. The selections in a build will come with an allowance, typically for base grade items. When you go to the design center to make your selections for fixtures, flooring, paint colors, tile, and basically everything else, the pre-selected items that fit within that allowance often aren't what the buyer had in mind. So they start looking at upgrades. And this is where it can get out of control really quick. $250 there, $1,000 here. It will add up in a hurry. Next thing you know, you're $30,000 over budget. Here's something else you need to understand. Some upgrades don't add value. Some do. An example I like to use is light fixtures. Whether you have a $500 entry light or a $10,000 entry light, it makes little to no difference in appraisal value, but it will certainly impact your budget. I will help you navigate all of it. Third, I'm here at every stage of the build. Pre-drywall inspection, final walkthrough, punch list. Having a construction background, I spent several years working on new homes before getting into real estate, and having over a decade in new construction sales means I know exactly what to look for and what actually matters. I'm not just walking through and saying, the cabinets look nice. I'm looking at framing, mechanicals, finish quality, and I'm documenting issues before they get covered up. Fourth, I negotiate on your behalf. Yes, we can negotiate with a builder, especially in a slower sales environment. Closing cost credits, upgrades, appliance packages, these are all in play depending on the community and where they are in the sales cycle. The builder's rep cannot negotiate against their client, but I can negotiate for you. Here's something else that might come up. A buyer visits a model home on their own, no agent. They sign in, and later, when they decide they want representation, this builder's rep tells them it's too late. You already registered without an agent. That's our policy. Signing your name on a registration card at a model home does not create a legal representation relationship. And under Missouri law, your right to hire an agent to represent you is not something a sign-in sheet can take away. Now, some builders do have policies around this, and navigating that conversation is exactly where having an experienced agent from the start matters. We know how to handle it. But the bigger point is this: don't let the possibility be the reason you go into this process alone. Call your agent before you visit a single model home, get registered properly, and walk in with somebody whose job is to protect your interest, not the builder's. If you don't have an agent who knows the Kansas City new construction market, that's what my team does. Reach out before your first model home visit and we'll make sure you're covered from day one. Let me dive into 3 buyer mistakes I see happen over and over. Number 1, trusting the builder's lender by default. Every builder will push you toward their preferred lender. Sometimes they offer incentives to use that lender, closing cost credits, rate buydowns. Those incentives can be real, but you should still shop the rate, and you should understand what you're trading. Sometimes the incentive is worth it, sometimes you can do better outside on your own. Number 2, skipping the independent inspection. New construction does not automatically mean it's high quality. Inspections catch real issues, things that are much easier and cheaper to fix before you close than after. Get an independent inspector, not the builder's quality check, your own person. Number 3, assuming the lot premium is set in stone. What are lot premiums? This is the extra cost for a corner lot, a cul-de-sac lot, a view, a walkout basement. And these are all negotiable more often than buyers think, especially if that community has been sitting on that lot for a while. Ask. The worst they can say is no. If you're planning to buy a new construction home anywhere in Kansas City Metro, whether it's Lee Summit, Raymore, Blue Springs, Green Valley, Overland Park, Olathe, I want you to reach out before you visit a single model home. My team has done this hundreds of times. We know the communities, we know the builders, and we know how to protect you through the process. My contact information is in the description below. If this video helped you understand something you didn't know going in, hit subscribe. I put out real information about the Kansas City market every single week. No fluff, no generic advice, just what you actually need to know. I will see you next time.